I'll never forget the day I found the Paris receipts in Dad's jacket pocket. My hands were raw from scrubbing dishes at the diner, my third double shift that week. I was home doing laundry, my own laundry, in my childhood home, at 20 years old, while Dad and my sister Simone were out running errands. The receipts slipped out, round-trip tickets to Paris, 5-star hotel, $8,000 total. My stomach dropped. Last month, I'd begged Dad for $300 to cover my biology textbooks. He'd looked me dead in the eye and said, "Son, I raised you to be independent. Figure it out." So I'd picked up a weekend shift at the campus bookstore, my second job, sleeping 4 hours a night to balance work and my pre-med courses. But this was different. I sat on his bed, holding that receipt like evidence at a crime scene. My phone buzzed. Simone's Instagram story, her at the Eiffel Tower, champagne glass raised, caption reading, "Dad knows how to treat his princess." The rage that filled my chest wasn't hot, it was ice cold, calculating. I took photos of everything. The receipt, her story, my bank statement showing $47.32. My hands shook as I opened my text thread with Dad. "Need to talk. Tonight. It's important." His response came 20 minutes later. "Busy with your sister. Maybe next week." That's when I knew. This wasn't about money. This was about who mattered. And apparently, I didn't. Growing up, I thought all siblings had different rules. Simone got piano lessons while I mowed lawns for spending money. She got a car at 16, a used Honda Civic, but still, while I rode the bus until I saved enough for my own beat-up Toyota. Mom used to balance it out before she passed when I was 14. "Your father loves you both," she'd say, squeezing my hand. "He just shows it differently." But after Mom died, the differences became chasms. Dad owned a successful construction company, pulling in $400,000 annually. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. Or they were. Simone got her college paid in full, Howard University, sorority fees, apartment, everything. She majored in finding herself, changing from psychology to communications to art history. Dad just smiled and signed the checks. When my acceptance to state came, Dad sat me down. "You're a man now, Terence. Men build their own empires. I'm not going to baby you like," he caught himself. "You'll thank me one day." I worked construction summers with his crew, but he paid me minimum wage while other guys made double. Character building, he called it. At family dinners, he'd boast about Simone's 3.2 GPA like she'd cured cancer, while my 3.8 in biochemistry got a grunt. Uncle Raymond noticed. "Why you treat that boy like a stepchild?" he asked once. Dad's jaw tightened. "Stay out of my business, Ray." Dad finally came home at 9 p.m. Simone bounced in behind him, carrying shopping bags from boutiques I couldn't afford to window shop at. "Terence, look what Dad got me for my internship." She didn't have an internship. She had a volunteer position at a gallery that paid nothing, which Dad supplemented with $1,000 monthly living expenses. I stood from the couch, receipt in hand. "We need to talk. Privately." Simone's smile faltered. Dad's face hardened. "Whatever you got to say, say it." I threw the receipt on the coffee table. $8,000 for Paris. I asked you for $300 for books and you told me to figure it out. I'm working 70 hours a week, failing asleep in class, and you're funding European vacations. Dad didn't even look at the receipt. Simone needed a break. She's been stressed. My voice cracked. I'm pre-med working 2 jobs. I haven't slept a full night in months. That's your choice, Dad said coldly. I offered you a management position at the company. You chose this hard path. I chose to be a doctor, and you should be proud, not punishing me for having ambition beyond construction. Simone touched Dad's arm. Daddy, maybe we should stay out of this, princess. He turned to me. You want handouts? You want me to coddle you? That's not how I raised my son. No, I said quietly. You didn't raise your son. You raised your ego and your princess. I'm just the help. I couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., I sat at my laptop, acceptance letters still pinned to my bulletin board. Johns Hopkins had wanted me. Full ride. I turned it down because Dad had actually promised, to help with living expenses if I stayed local. Keep the family close, he'd said. Lies. All lies. I started digging through old family photos on my computer, looking for evidence of when it all changed. Then I found Mom's journal in a box under my bed. I'd never read it before, it felt too invasive, too painful. But that night, I needed her. The entry from 2 months before she died broke me. Had another fight with Luke today. He wants to send Terence to military school, says the boy needs discipline. But Terence is perfect, straight A's, kind heart, responsible. I think Luke resents that Terence reminds him of his own father, strict and demanding. He overcompensates with Simone because she needs more guidance. I worry what happens when I'm gone. Who protects my baby boy? My hands trembled. Military school? He'd wanted to send me away. Another entry. Luke admitted today he's harder on Terence because men need to struggle. His father raised him with an iron fist and he turned out fine, he says. But he didn't turn out fine. He's afraid of softness, afraid of showing love to his son. Simone gets his affection because she's safe, a daughter, his princess. But Terence threatens him somehow. I showed up at Uncle Raymond's auto shop at dawn. He was already there, coffee in hand, gospel playing on the radio. Terence. Boy, what you doing here this early? I couldn't speak at first. I just handed him Mom's journal, opened to those pages. Uncle Raymond read slowly, his jaw working. Finally, he set it down. I need you to tell me the truth, I said. All of it. He sighed, leaning against his workbench. Your grandfather, Wyatt, he was a hard man. Beat your daddy regularly, called it making him tough. Your dad swore he'd never hit his kids, and he hasn't. But he's still fighting his father's ghost. That's not an excuse to treat me like garbage while worshipping Simone. You're right. It ain't. Uncle Raymond poured another coffee. After your mama died, I told Luke he was going too far. He said, Terence is strong, like his mother. He'll make it. Simone needs me. But that's just fear talking. He's afraid you don't need him, so he creates need by withholding. Control. The Paris trip. I didn't know about that. Uncle Raymond's face darkened. That's beyond favoritism, Terence. That's cruel. He promised to help with school. That's why I stayed local, turned down Johns Hopkins. Uncle Raymond's eyes widened. You got into Hopkins? Full ride. Yeah. And Luke knew. Yeah. Uncle Raymond stood, pacing. That man is sabotaging you. Whether he knows it or not, he's keeping you small because watching you fly scares him. Simone showed up at my dorm that weekend. I almost didn't let her in, but she looked upset, mascara smeared, hands shaking. I need to tell you something, she said, sitting on my roommate's bed. And you're going to hate me more than you already do. I don't hate you, Simone. You should. She pulled out her phone, showing me her banking app. Dad's been depositing $2,000 monthly into my account since freshman year. For expenses. I didn't need it, Terry. I have a trust fund from Mom's life insurance, $50,000. Dad set it up for me, said it was for my future. The room tilted. A trust fund. He said you got yours already, used it for your car and deposits and stuff. My laugh was bitter. I don't have a trust fund, Simone. I saved for that car working construction for 2 summers. Mom's life insurance. She had a $100,000 policy. He told me it was split between us, he lied. The words felt like glass in my throat. I've never seen a dime of that money. Simone's face crumbled. Oh my God. Terry, I swear I didn't know. I thought we both got the same, that you were just proud and working anyway because that's who you are. Where's the rest of the money? I don't know. But Terry, there's more. She showed me another bank statement. Last year, when I asked Dad for Paris, he said he'd fund it if I didn't tell you about the monthly payments. I hired a paralegal student from campus, Jasmine Maddox, who owed me a favor after I'd tutored her through organic chemistry. Within 3 days, she had records. Mom's life insurance, $100,000, paid out to Dad as sole beneficiary when I was 14. The policy stated equal distribution to both children upon their 18th birthdays. I never received my $50,000. Simone's trust was set up in Dad's name as custodian. Mine never existed. The construction company payroll showed Dad had paid me $8.50 hourly while union minimum was $18.50. He'd pocketed the difference, roughly $12,000 over 3 summers. This is fraud, Jasmine said flatly. You could sue him for embezzlement of your inheritance, wage theft, and breach of fiduciary duty. I sat in the library, staring at the documents. $50,000. That would have covered my entire undergraduate education, books, housing, everything. I could have gone to Hopkins. I could have slept. Instead, Dad had stolen my mother's final gift and used it. For what? Simone's lifestyle? His own pride? That night, I dreamed of Mom. She was in her garden, planting roses. Baby, she said, not turning around, sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones you need protection from. It's okay to walk away. I'm not walking, Mama, I whispered. I'm running. I called a family meeting under false pretenses, discussion about Mom's estate. Dad showed up annoyed. Simone came with tissues, already crying. Uncle Raymond positioned himself by the door, back up. I laid the documents on Dad's dining table like I was dealing cards. Mom's life insurance policy. My birth certificate. Your tax returns showing company income. And payroll records showing wage theft. Dad's face went purple. You went through my private. You stole my inheritance. My voice was steady, cold. $50,000 that Mom left me. You told Simone we both had trusts. You lied. You kept it all. Simone gasped. Daddy, you said, stay out of this, he roared. Uncle Raymond stepped forward. Don't you raise your voice at that girl. Dad stood, fists clenched. This is my house. My business. I did what I thought was right. Right. I was on my feet now. You funded European vacations with my dead mother's money while I worked myself sick. What's right about that? You needed to learn. Learn what? I slammed my hand on the table. That my father's a thief? That I'm not worth basic decency? That loving your daughter means destroying your son? The silence was deafening. Dad's jaw worked, but no words came. Finally, quietly, I said, I'm done. You want to know what you taught me? That blood doesn't mean family. And DNA doesn't guarantee love. I grabbed the documents. I'm keeping these. And you'll never control me again. My attorney, Mrs. Patricia Williams, was a bulldog in a pantsuit. She'd graduated from Howard Law and had a reputation for destroying negligent parents in court. We're not just suing for the inheritance, she explained in her office. We're going after emotional damages, lost educational opportunities, and punitive damages for the fraud. I'm estimating $200,000 total. I don't want his money, I said. Mrs. Williams leaned forward. Terence, this isn't about wanting it. It's about justice. He stole from you. He lied. He manipulated. And he'll do it again to someone else if there are no consequences. The lawsuit hit Dad like a freight train. His attorney called mine within hours. My client is willing to settle. No settlement, Mrs. Williams said cheerfully. See you in court. The pre-trial depositions were brutal. Dad, under oath, tried to justify everything. I was teaching him responsibility, he said, shifting in his chair. And the life insurance money. Mrs. Williams pressed. Terence was 14. I was the custodian. I used it for household expenses, Simone's education, so you stole it. That's not. Yes or no, Mr. Patterson? Did you use Terence's inheritance for purposes other than his benefit? Long pause. Yes. Simone testified too, crying through her statement. I didn't know. I thought we were both being treated fairly. If I'd known Terry was suffering while I got everything, I would've. I don't know what I would have done, but something. The trial lasted 3 days. The jury took 2 hours to deliberate. They awarded me $175,000, my full inheritance with interest, lost wages, and partial punitive damages. Dad sat stone-faced as the verdict was read. Outside the courthouse, a woman approached me. Mid-50s, brown skin, kind eyes. Terence Patterson. Yes. My name is Diane Mitchell. I was your mother's best friend. She handed me an envelope. Your mother gave me this before she died. Made me promise to give it to you if things ever went wrong with your father. She said I'd know when. Inside was a letter in Mom's handwriting. My dearest Terence, if you're reading this, your father has failed you. I'm so sorry. I saw the signs, the way he treated you differently, the resentment in his eyes when you succeeded. I thought I could fix him, that my love could balance his demons. I was wrong. In this envelope is information about your real inheritance. A separate account I hid from your father, $75,000 in bonds maturing on your 25th birthday. He doesn't know it exists. I also left you my grandmother's house in Oakland, held in trust under my maiden name. You always have a home, baby. Always. Your father isn't evil. He's broken. His father broke him, and he doesn't know how to love a son without breaking him too. But you, my brilliant boy, you can break the cycle. Be better. Be whole. I love you. Forever, Mom. With Mom's bonds, the lawsuit money, and a business loan, I started Patterson Medical Consulting at 23. We specialized in helping pre-med students from low-income backgrounds navigate the system I'd barely survived. Within 2 years, we'd placed 500 students in programs nationwide, secured $12 million in scholarships, and partnered with 15 universities. I hired Jasmine as general counsel. Uncle Raymond handled our books. Simone, who dropped out to find herself, asked to work receptionist. I want to help, she said. I want to do something that matters, that fixes what we did to you. I made her director of student advocacy. She was good at it, pouring her guilt into purpose. By 27, Forbes called me one of 30 under 30 in education. The company was valued at $40 million. I bought Mom's grandmother's house and renovated it into our headquarters. On the wall, I hung Mom's letter in a frame. Dad never called. Not after the trial, not after the Forbes article, not after CNN interviewed me about breaking cycles of generational trauma. But I heard things through Uncle Raymond. Dad's business was struggling. His reputation took a hit after the lawsuit. People don't like contractors who steal from their kids. He'd tried reaching out to Simone, but she'd established boundaries. I love you, Daddy, she told him during their last call. But I can't be your princess anymore. It cost my brother too much. 5 years after the trial, Dad showed up at my office. Security called. There's a Luke Patterson here to see you. My first instinct was to refuse. But I thought of Mom's letter. Be better. Be whole. He looked smaller than I remembered. Grey hair, tired eyes, the arrogance gone. I don't expect you to forgive me, he said, standing in my doorway. I don't deserve it. I didn't offer him a seat. What do you want? To say I'm sorry. And to explain, even though there's no excuse. He told me about his father, the beatings, the constant message that love made you weak, that sons were competition, not children. When you were born, you were so much like your mother. Smart, kind, confident. It terrified me. I didn't know how to raise softness, so I tried to harden you. Make you like me. You tried to break me. Yes. And I'm sorry. Tears streamed down his face. I was wrong. About everything. You didn't need hardening. You needed love. And I failed you. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just emptiness. Mom knew, I said finally. She knew you'd fail me. She prepared for it. She loved me enough to protect me from you, even after death. I know. She tried to tell me. Did you come here for absolution? No. I came to say you were right. You built an empire without me. And I'm proud of you, son. I didn't forgive Dad that day, or the next month, or the next year. But I stopped hating him. Hate requires energy I needed for building. Patterson Medical Consulting expanded internationally. We launched scholarship programs in 17 countries. I published a memoir, Breaking Cycles, How I Built Success from Betrayal. It hit the New York Times bestseller list. Simone got married. I walked her down the aisle because Dad wasn't invited. At the reception, she toasted, "To my brother, who taught me that real family is chosen, and real love requires accountability." I donated $500,000 to Johns Hopkins in Mom's name. They named a scholarship after her. Uncle Raymond retired, fishing every day, finally at peace. I bought him a boat. Dad sent cards on birthdays. I never opened them, but I didn't throw them away either. Maybe one day. At 32, I stood in front of a TED audience, telling my story. Some of you grew up with parents who made you feel small to control you, who gave you less to teach you more, who broke you to build you. Here's what I learned: they were wrong. You don't need to be broken to be strong. You don't need to earn love. And you are not defined by who failed you, you're defined by who you became despite them. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. Backstage, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I watched. "You were right. About everything, Dad." I didn't respond. But I smiled. Because the best revenge isn't anger or pain, it's becoming everything they said you couldn't be, and doing it without them. If you believe parents should invest in all their children equally, hit that subscribe button. Only manipulators and toxic parents would disagree. Comment "Every child deserves love" if you can't stand people like Luke. And if you think Terence did the right thing by cutting off his family, smash that like button, because only those who enable toxic behavior won't support justice.